I believe that Israel is in its Jacob state. And if they are, we have to know that there's coming a revelation, there's coming an expression, there's coming a salvation of Israel where they will receive the revelation that Jesus is Messiah, and they will receive their name change, and they will receive the blessing of Abraham at the return of Jesus as Messiah into the land. Just because you are against their policies in the land and in the region doesn't necessarily mean that you are against Israel. You can be against their policies and stand with Israel's right to exist, with an understanding that Jesus the Messiah will reveal himself to his people in the time of great tribulation, in the time of great persecution. It's the plan of God to save them out of trouble. Jeremiah 30, let me read that. Jeremiah 30 and 5. Ask now and see, can a man labor with child? Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, and as a woman in labor, and all faces turn pale? Alas, for the day is great, so that no one is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So the time of Jacob's trouble in the new covenant, the great tribulation, will be the wrestling in the night seasons as Jacob in the book of Genesis 32, the same night he arose, took his wives and his 11 sons, crossed over the ford of Jabbok, and took them and sent them across the stream along with all that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him there until daybreak. And when the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched the socket of his thigh, so that the socket of Jacob's thigh was dislocated as he wrestled with him. Then he said, let me go, for the day breaks. But Jacob said, I will not let you go until you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. Then the man said, your name will no more be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have fought with God and men and prevailed. Then Jacob asked him, tell me, I pray you, your name. But he said, why do you ask me my name? And then he blessed him there. That blessing is the blessing of Abraham that Jacob was desiring when he deceived his brother out of his birthright. Jacob wanted to be the loins by which the seed of the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, would come into the earth. However, Jacob wasn't the firstborn, Esau was. So he deceived Esau out of his birthright. But in Genesis 32, the angel of the Lord, the Messiah, Jesus the Christ, wrestled with Jacob and changed his name and gave him that blessing from God. And so just as Jacob in the book of Genesis wrestled with the angel of the Lord, the revelation that Jesus was both the Messiah and God, and his name was changed from Jacob to Israel. The nation of Israel, the modern state of Israel, is in its Jacob state, and they will wrestle during the time of Jacob's trouble, during the time of great tribulation. They will wrestle with the revelation that Jesus is the Messiah, and they will receive salvation, a name change, and they will receive deliverance from their enemies round about. In Genesis 32, when Jacob got a revelation of the Messiah, the angel changed his name from Jacob to Israel. When Jacob met Esau, Esau's heart towards Jacob had been turned, and there was a reconciliation of Jacob and Esau. Both of them recognizing they were blessed. Both of them recognizing that they were sons of Abraham, and they were no longer at enmity with one another. When Jacob gets a revelation of the Messiah and reaches out for his blessing through the Messiah, the enmity between Jacob and Esau is reconciled, and there is a divine reconciliation that happens. That's what has to happen in the nation of Israel. And that nation and that salvation of that nation through a revelation of Yeshua as Messiah will happen when the church of Jesus Christ wrestles in prayer to reveal Yeshua as Messiah, which opens up a whole nother point of confliction in the body of Christ. The church is called to provoke Israel to jealousy and to preach the gospel to the Jew first. And we are called to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. So there's a wrestle from the nation, the wrestling that causes a revelation of Yeshua HaMashiach, and there's a wrestling in prayer from the church, from those that will be set as watchmen on the wall, praying for the peace of Jerusalem, praying until he makes Jerusalem a praise in the earth. There's a wrestling from the church that has to happen that causes Israel to get that revelation that Jesus is Messiah. And that is my burden, and that is the passion of my heart in the book, The Israel Mandate. Our role in standing with Israel during the time of Jacob's trouble, and my coming book, The Jacob Mandate, which will express what I just shared with you about Jacob wrestling with Yeshua HaMashiach, the angel of the Lord, to receive a name change, and the modern state of Israel becoming the Israel that receives the promise of God and the salvation of their nation.